Yo, I just left. We just transitioned over from our satellite at Cookie World of Fashion, Gara Gayn. Now we over here, yo, on this wing of the satellite. Now, I mean, this is El Gargain Reads, man. And we're coming from St. John Noble Kids, the age of the cracking. So let's get it cracking. We on chapter 5, yo. This chapter 5 is called Tweety and Bird. Peep game, yo. Here we go, man. Here's the read. Hope y'all enjoy the read, man. Here we go. All right, here we go, brothers. Tweety and Bird. Chapter 5, Tweety and Bird. Breaking the news to Tamara weighed heavy on our hearts. The sense of disappointment was palpable. It felt like we had failed Danger, neglected our duty to protect him. But there was a silver lining, a beacon of hope that Danger had left for us. Unlike most hustlers who lived for the now, Danger had a foresight that set him apart. He had saved money, wisely considering the potential need for an attorney. His forward thinking strategy served us well during this ordeal, and it provided a cushion that many didn't have. With Danger temporarily knocked out of the game, it fell on Indian to manage the tension with Kasim on Lincoln Road and keep our block under control. The loss of our connection with Strongman added more heat to the already simmering drama. As the summer of '89 rolled around, the block was buzzing with activity. Truth and his crew had their operation humming smoothly, drawing crack fiends like bees to honey. However, G-Money and Indian still held their ground. They had their loyal customers, folks who wouldn't be swayed by the allure of Truth's spot. They made a smart move with Danger Stash, invested in a pound of skunk. It served a dual purpose, a source of income and a little something for personal relaxation. This meant they kept their profit in their pockets without the need to split it with anyone else. Katrina and Tisha had mixed feelings about the whole situation. While they nursed a slight resentment toward Indian and G Money, they were revealed that Danger's sentence was relatively short, and above all, they were grateful that their men remained free. Meanwhile, Indian was laying low, just small changing for a bit. He still had the 85 Honda Accord, and every time he blast that reggae hit, she got a gun in her baggie, the block would light up. They kept a low profile, so when Indian and G Money stepped out, it was like the stage lights had flipped on. All eyes were on them. No joke. You could swear cats were out here placing bets on us, trying to predict our next move. But nah, that wasn't happening. They moved like ninjas on a mission. Indian reached out to Mataranks, filled him in on what had gone down with Danger. Mata played it cool, said he had some work for us. This was going to be G Money's first time stepping out with the Charlefart crew as a verified member, not just a spectator. So Indian drove down to Nostrand and Herkimer, parked up by what used to be a side street of Nostrand, by some old bank building or something. The whole crew was out that night. Bush, light skinned Chucky, Cabby, Messiah, Sugar too. Each one of them carried an aura of confidence and swag that was unique. Like they had their own brand of magic. It was like stepping into a whole different world. Mata had a proposition for Indian. He'd secured a spot in Bushwick where he was selling 20s of coke. The Dodge was a storefront, ordinary as daylight, but the real business was anything but. Mata needed someone to oversee the operation, manage the re ups, keep the storefront afloat with good stock. He passed Indian a list of contacts, suppliers, distributors, right down to the delivery guys. Cabby, in particular, had a special role. His job was to make trips to Pennsylvania to pick up a cornucopia of tobacco products, snuff, rolling paper, cigars, and a sea of cigarettes. Then there was this Spanish dude who dropped off crates of beer. I mean, every kind you could think of. Mata handed the Indian a composite notebook, a ledger of sorts. He stressed the importance of meticulous record keeping. All cash transactions, in and out, had to be logged in a particular order, a system that was as much about business as it was about security. Indian then passed the torch to G Money. This was his initiation into the real game, the first hand lesson in bookkeeping. They were to open the store every morning around 10 a.m. with a Latino worker, a real stunner with light brown, long hair, and a Coca Cola bottle figure. And the cherry on top, she didn't use a rare gem in this world of ours. The store shut its doors at 6 p.m. sharp each day with precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker proud. Sundays, however, were a day of rest. You see, in Bushwick, the neighborhood throve with the pulse of Spanish community, most of whom practiced some form of Christianity. It wasn't a matter of personal belief or choice. Oh no. It was about understanding the rhythm of your surroundings so you can groove smoothly in the commercial dance. Respect a little bit of it. Went a long way when you were dealing with diverse cultures and groups. Selling drugs, that's an ancient art, was an institution itself. An intriguing fact: the word drug is rooted in the Sanskrit term dirk, nagas, Diva Durga, the name of the fearsome goddess Kali herself, the Brahmic order. Those wise priests were masters of the herbal arts of medicine. They stemmed from a lineage that held one of the most comprehensive records of ancient knowledge. This archive wasn't tucked away in the corners of Kemet, what you know as Egypt, but rather in Bharat, modern day India. The Arya Veda, a tomb of wisdom, was a testament to their profound understanding of medical science and technology, a high sastra, or science in itself. To this day, Western scientists definitely borrow, no, pilfer formulas from these ancient minds, while the original thinkers are left in the dust, uncredited. Such is the world, I suppose. This may come as a surprise, but cocaine was no stranger to the ancient ones. Oh, yes. In the lofty heights of Peru and the Andes, men would chew on cocoa leaves for that extra bit of oomph. When conquering the steep hills of Central America, if you ever find yourself chuckling at G Money's catchphrase, keep on climbing, now you know the historical undertone. In those times, we had a symbolic relationship with Mother Earth. We didn't exploit or abuse her riches, but used them judiciously, nurturing both creation and ourselves. We respected and cherished her gifts. The irony, if you can comprehend, is that these supposed native Indian natives possessed a deep rooted connection to the ancient civilization of Bharat. Most of the folks in the Caribbean, those you may inappropriately label as coolies or Douglas, a derogatory term coined by the exploitative Dutch and British East Indian Company, and descendants of Bharat. They are descendants of Bharat. They aim to degrade and strip these people of their pride and legacy. But let's set the record straight. Mata and Indian were both Trinidadian, a beautiful blend of so called African slave natives, and individuals from Barat. These people were global citizens before the term even existed. Their trade network spanning the entire world. There existed no divisive boundaries, only a collective consciousness that fostered unity and cooperation. The evidence is carved into their trade practice, now lost in the annals of history, attributed to a mythical sunken continent named Mu. Back on the block, a fresh menace was brewing. Hold on one second. Let me see somebody just hit us up real quick. I want to shout out, shout out to BC. You know what I mean? BC being there court. Shout out. You know what I mean? Shout out to Hey Lucian World. Yo, good looking. Let me continue to read. I love the support. Let's keep it up. All right, cool. Say no more. Say less. Back on the block, a fresh menace was brewing. Danger had barely left the scene, locked up and removed from his turf, when Frankie from up the block started fronting on him. This dude knew all too well the twins were rolling with G Money in danger. The chump was nothing short of a stalker, always lurking around Tamara. Danger was barely 15 then. G Money just a year younger, but they had the streets in their veins. Tamara, she'd be out walking her dog, Lady, minding her own, when Frankie would try to slide in. But Danger, he'd appear out of nowhere like a ghost. Like, yo, that's my wifey. What you think you doing? Frankie would just grill him and then laugh it off like it was nothing. These dudes were foul. Driving by in Frankie's tinted Maxima, blowing kisses out the window and crackling like hyenas. We were gritting our teeth, itching to unload on these fools. But they were our OGs. This was where we drew the line. G Money would be chilling on the stoop with Tisha when Frankie or Vonda, another one of those birds, would roll up. Vonda would pull up a U-turn in his green 300E class Benz and then hit us with the high beam, lighting up the stoop like it was high noon. This shit was getting out of hand and something had to give. G Money had to dig deep into his reservoir of patience not to spark a turf war with Frankie. The old gangster was constantly trying to spit game to Teacher, which was enough to make any man vexed, but it didn't rattle G Money. Instead, it inflated his confidence, knowing that this supposed OG was sweating his girl. It was a silent acknowledgement that this teenager was stepping toe to toe with a seasoned street veteran just by holding his own. G Money was gifted a heavy rope chain adorned with the eagle pendant, a testament to his allegiance and hard work. Mata had presented it to him in recognition of the excellent work he, an Indian, was doing at the store. They were rolling in Mata's whips, their style unmatched by anyone on the block. The conspicuous display of wealth was something that Frankie and Vonda couldn't stomach, mainly because they could not fathom where or how G Money and Danger had acquired such assets. The resentment from Frankie and Vonda was an anomaly because the rest of the block had nothing but respect for Danger and G Money. They were the neighborhood golden boys. But one day, a blip occurred. Ernest Bourne's truth cousin had tried to snatch Katrina's chain or earrings. G Money didn't waste a second. He was on him, laying down a beating that left no question about his ferocity. At this point, Ernest Bowen had succumbed to the beast, the Kraken, but G Money had zero sympathy. He knew better than to try and rob a girl from the block, certainly not one of our girls. After the judicial system had its way with danger, the emissaries of the plug, known as the strawmen, began to loom ominously on the block. Indian G Money found themselves stationed on the stoop of 1284, eyeing the strawman's representatives, a character called JR. Besides him was another player, a short, light skinned man invisible behind his spectacles. An exchange brewed between JR and Indian at first, a storm in a teacup. Then, like a falcon targeting its prey, JR's eyes were drawn to the heavy chain hanging around G Neck's neck. Without a word, G Money slipped off his chain, deposited them into safety of his pocket, and closed the distance between him and JR. Their faces were inches apart. A silent standoff rang louder than any word spoken. JR accused Indian G Money of pilfering from the strawman stash, a claim vehemently denied by Indian. Indian maintained their innocence, insisting that all rightful possessions had been returned to the strawman. Then tension snapped as the bespectacled man reached out to grip G Money's wrist. As fast as a whip, G Money swatted his hand away, his body instantly coiling in anticipation of the ensuing fight. Before the situation could escalate further, India intervened, determined to steer the confrontation away from violence. However, the bespectacled man seemed not to share his sentiments, promising to return shortly before storming off in a huff. G Money, unyielding, demanded Indian to fetch him that thing. Indian disappeared into the shadows of the building, re-emerging with the 3 pound. G Money, weapon in hand, sprinted up the block to intercept the fleeing man, passing by Ernest Bourne, building in the process. Ernest Bourne perched high above the street level in his apartment, below something down to Frankie, who was nonchalantly leaning on his motorcycle. As G Money darted past Frankie, the latter's arm shot out like a striking snake, snaring G Money's around his middle and yanking him back. Frankie brandished a 4/5. The cool metal of the barrel pressed ominously against G Money's temple. A thorough pat down ensued, Frankie's fingers finding the cool heft of that thing within G Money's pockets. Frankie released his captive, coldly instructed G Money to retreat back to the block. A storm of rage brewed within G Money. He'd been caught off guard while plotting a strategic move against an opponent's life. He mused bitterly, had a clue he had a cool way of blindsiding you. He amused blindly had a cruel way of blindsiding you with trials when least expected. Yet, the key was to keep your eyes on the prize. Never waver. Never lose sight of the end game in the face of persistent adversity. Ernest Bourne must have green light the unfolding drama from his vantage point. Frankie revved up his motorcycle, got it at a leisure pace up the block, spotted Indian and me. He beckoned as we approached. He handed the thing back to Indian, warning G Money to steer clear of his path. Indian, the reclaimed weapon in his hand, retreated into the house, while Frankie, with a final menacing glance at us, gunned his motorcycle, tires screeching as he disappeared in a cloud of dust. Playing the game of life, G Money mused, was like a complex chess match. It was impossible to become a master if all your pieces weren't in place at the onset. You'd be handicapped right from the start. The recent encounters with Frankie was a setback, a pawn taken in the early moves of the game. He yearned to spill it all to Mata, to lay out the audacity of the act. Yet India's word echoed in his mind, a whisper in the wind, warning against the commencement of an unwanted battles. We got the gun back. You're okay. Let it be, Indian had counseled. The urban jungle they navigated was always simmering, always on the brink of erupting into chaos. Case in point, Bush getting locked up for shooting someone in the leg, and those pesky warrants coming back to haunt him, coming back to bite him. Another teammate down, another void to be filled, another chess piece off the board. As they took over Bush's spot, the game became even more intricate, the stakes higher. Then came the summons from Mata, a meeting at the house. Indian was tied up at the other spot, so G-Money held a cab. As he climbed the steps to Mata's place, his mind raced. Mata words hit him like a freight train. From now on, G-Money, I want you to cop the work. The gravity of the request hung in the air. He'd seen Danger do it with Gary. It looked easy. It looked like easy money. He felt the weight of the quarter, all 248 grams of it. This was a big step up, a promotion of sorts, a move that would make him a serious player in the hustle of life. This was the knight moving on up the chessboard, a power play in the game. He could only hope this move would check, not checkmate. G Money found himself sequestered in the dimly lit confines of Champion's house. The silent tension heavy as he awaited Gary. His eyes darted around the room, landing on and off the entrance of the restaurant as Truth sauntered in. Truth's icy gaze locked on G Money, a silent challenge lingering in the air. The unspoken animosity could be linked to Ernest Bourne, G Money speculated. When Gary finally arrived, he slipped G Money a nondescript brown bag. A clandestine exchange under Truth watchful eyes. Sensing the escalating tension, G Money made his exit, scurrying to the waiting cabbie. They sped off, the city's image blurring as they rushed back to the sanctuary of their stash house. Mata was visibly impressed as they entered. That was quick. You're getting used to this, huh? He rasped, his gaze penetrating. G Money simply nodded. Words are necessary when the proof was tangible. Resting securely in the brown bag, Mata approval was vocalized in a crisp exchange of $800 bills, followed by explicit instructions: stay low from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. G Money spent the evening with Tisha, their laughter filling the movie theater. It was a night of carefree joy, a brief respite from their harsh reality. They returned to his place, their bodies intertwining in a fervent dance. Before she left, G Money took a moment. They navigated across the roof, descending into Indian's crib. Outside on the step, Indian left to secure a Dutch, their evening post, to take a euphoric turn with a session of some quality sensimania. Indian had barely rounded the corner, a six-pack of a red stripe, clutched in his hands. When he saw Truth causing a scene, his voice echoed off the building, his stretch cascading into the night air as he waved a nine around recklessly. Indian paused, taking in the spectacle. In the glow of the streetlights, he could see Truth target G Money. Man, ain't no peace in the hood, in this hood. Indian muttered under his breath as he watched Truth pulling a large Glad zip bag filled with cracks out of his pants, flaunting it for everyone to see. Indian made his way towards the commotion, every fiber of his being screaming at him to turn around and avoid the drama. But he couldn't, not when G Money was involved. Upon his arrival, True threw him a heated glance, barking, "Go get G Money's piece," a thinly veiled threat hidden behind the directive. The confusion was palpable. Even G Money seemed lost. unsure of what had sparked this sudden conflict. Amidst the chaos, Danger's sister stepped in, their voices steady despite the tension. Put the heat down, True. They demanded. If you've got beef with G Money, handle it man to man. Ain't no need for bullets. G Money looked at Truth, his glance steady. Sounds good to me, he responded, his voice calm despite the situation. The sisters' proposition seemed to flip a switch. Both men were the same stature. A fair fight seemed a reasonable resolution, but Truth hardened gaze lingered on G Money, the threat of violence reflecting vividly in his eyes. For a moment, it seemed a bullet would cut the air instead of words. But then, in a surprising turn of events, Truth picked up his package, tucked his pistol away, and without a word walked off. Truth had always been a skilled player in the game, but his recent actions had revealed a palpable weakness, his addiction. Weeks later, in the sweltering heat of July, G Money found himself on the rooftop, heading towards Indian's place. There at the top of the steps was Truth, high out of his mind and vulnerable. It would have been the perfect time to strike back and secure revenge, but G Money merely shook his head. The beast got him. The cracks got him, he murmured to himself. Meanwhile, Linda was a bundle of nerves, aware that her new man was spiraling into the dark abyss of addiction. Truth had changed. His eyes, often bloodshot, his lips cracked. He'd begin creeping around, robbing people he once knew, even friends. Indian, on the other hand, continued his trade, dealing with contacts Danger had introduced. Some were from Sterling and Utica, kids they'd gone to school with at IS-390. There were others from the block. Mike, Alex, Kali, with his flashy 5.0 Mustang. Kali had his own connections too, like Skipper. One fateful day, or rather late night or early morning, nobody could tell during the demon time. Truth crossed lines he shouldn't have. He tried to rob his own people on Sterling and Utica. They fought, struggled for control over an assault rifle. But Truth, now deep into his crack addiction, had lost his edge. He stumbled. And in that moment, his opponent seized the upper hand and claimed Truth's soul. All right, that's it with chapter 5, brothers and sisters, my poets and poets. But man, let me talk to you, man, about this, man. That situation was very tenable back then, man. Because when you look at G Money, man, what he was going through, mind you, he's still a juvenile, barely an adolescent. He was going through it. But the proof was in the pudding of how he dealt with the situation. A cool head, level head. But see, what kept his head level was his what? His ambition, his drive to be successful in the street industry called crack cocaine. He learned from studying his environment, studying his peers in his environment, his peers in his environment, and learn when to explode and when not to explode. Because sometimes, man, you have to learn when to back down. It's just a fact. And know when to run into the storm, and sometimes when to go into a cave and let the storm go by. Sometimes it ain't for you to fight the storm. Sometimes you gotta be a bear and go hibernate. I mean, take a chill pill. Because if you don't, you see your last season. That was one of the tools, or rather one of the jewels G Money left behind for us in that chapter. There's other jewels in there which we're gonna approach, but those are one of the important jewels where it's to relax, step back, reevaluate, then take the next step. See, with Indian by his side, with danger as his advisor, he had those handlebars to contend with those issues. But a lot of us don't got those handlebars to contend with those issues or those brakes. A lot of us don't have handlebars or brakes, so we just crash out like a bandicoot. You gotta be careful of that, young men. This is why this book is good for the youth in this day and time, because it gives you a sort of leverage to outthink those who can't think, who are emotional and radical and irrational. Another thing too, a lot of times we crash out over our women, man, over our girls. Is she truly right for you? Is she truly loyal to you? Is she truly dedicated to take care of you? Very important step in watching the ones you mate with. A lot of us don't understand that when you're dealing with religion, in religion, they have precursory measures for this stuff. In Christianity, they would say they have courting methods. But in Islam, they have courting methods too. But these courting methods are unique and special in Islam. A lot of the imams don't know these methods. A lot of mullahs don't know these methods. Because you know why? They're not looking at the ancient world to gauge their own book. This comes where fashion comes to place. Because when W.D. Fard had left for us the MGT, he left another title for the MGT, which was GCC, which is General Civilization Class. When you are studying your deen or your faith, study it in comparison to civilization in a general way. Then you will learn certain infinite utility usages of civilization from your belief or your faith. Because most time in your faith, there are general principles inside of it. Like for instance, we're talking about courting women, dating women. When the master teacher raised up in the wilderness of North America, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said for him that he is to have a group of men called FOI, which was the military training of men in the wilderness of North America. Fruit of Islam. Fruit of Islam. Why I bring that up? Let me show you something here. In Islam, they have something you call a day of meeting, which is Yom al Juma or Yom Ash Juma, day of meeting. Okay. Juma, being that they isolated to just the word meeting, has a big, deeper meaning to it. Much grander meaning to it. One of the grander meanings to it is the word Juma itself. What is it to meet? Meet what? What is the most omnificent point of meeting between man in this civilization that we live in today? Is it man to man to meet? No. The greatest meaning of all meetings is given to us elaborately in the Quran. Also the Tanakh as well. Tanakh is an abbreviative term meaning Torah, Nabavim, Katavim, Tanakh, TNK, 3 books. In the Quran, it says that man is a cover for woman and woman is a cover for man. That is the greatest meeting of all meetings when you meet each other. In the Tanakh, the Torah, it says, it teaches us about the Hagain, which means garden. It says in the garden he placed the two, right? And he told them all to eat and to indulge in the garden except for this certain spot. Be through with that later. But they was all in the garden. They was to engage in the garden. But it was them two together that was destiny bound. Them two to meet each other. right? So important. In the garden. This word garden in Hebrew is called what? Hagin. The word garden in Hebrew, I mean Arabic, which is the cousin language supposedly to Hebrew, is Jannah. Jannah. Jannah does not mean paradise. Jannah does not mean heaven. It means garden. What does it have to do with what I'm talking about? Let me show you something. There is a parent language to Hebrew and to Arabic. Oh, yes, and it's called Sanskrit, the sun language of the heavens. Sun. Okay. Sanskrit has a word which relates to both these words, Hagan and Juna. It's called Jamna. Jamna. So the M and the N plays a role in this. So here we have Juma. What does Juma have to do with Jinnah? In Sanskrit, the word Jinnah and Juma is put together in Jamna. It's together in the one word. And that one word, Jamna, means both Juma, meeting, and Jinnah, garden. Jamna means natal chart. Juma, how does that mean natal chart? Let me show you something. What's the greatest meeting place? The greatest meeting place is what? Mecca. Whoa! Yes. Every year, don't they have the Hajj? Every year, Hajj. And where they meet? Mecca. What they do at Mecca, they circumambulate the what? Azwad, Allah Azwad, Hajjah, Azwad, or Azwad al Hajjah, the black stone. They circumambulate it 70 times. Have you ever heard of something called the seven chakras, the seven heavens, the 7 days of creation? Is there something? The seven circumambulations. Mecca is the center. The word Naba in Arabic means prophet. Naba in Hebrew means prophet. Nabavim, book of prophets. But in Sanskrit, the word Naba doesn't mean prophet. It means navel. Navel. What happens in the navel between man and woman? In man is where his food is digested. Women too. But with women, it's a little extra going on. What's the extra going on? In Naba, in a woman, is what you call impregnation occurring. Deep, right? So that's the greatest meeting place. Is the woman's nabi, the woman's womb is the greatest meeting place. Because that's where what you would call the creator is with man, solely together by themselves, developing the fetus into what? Rabil Alameen, developing, evolving creation until it reaches eventual perfection. Then it's conceived. And at 7th month, the fetus is fully developed in the womb. Fully developed in the womb. It can actually be taken out and survive at 7th month. 7 again. But what I'm saying about Juma, the word Juma also has a different spelling to it. What you mean? Yes, it also spells Jama. What? Yes. How can you figure that out? Brother El Gara, let's go to Surah 53 in the Quran. It's entitled El Najam. We remove the na. You have what? Jam. Jama. The meaning of what? the meeting under the stars. A meeting took place. Najam. So Jama means meeting, but it also means under the stars. But what you mean under the stars? Oh, Jamna means natal chart. The natal chart is talking about what? We're not talking about some simple two science here. You want to refer to it as astrology. But in truth, as we are on this planet, traveling at 1,137 miles per hour, on this way around every 15 degrees per hour, its circumference is 25,000 miles in circumference, approximately. And it takes every 25,000 Earth years to make one solar year. So the planet is traveling with what? The sun. The sun is traveling at a certain destination speed, which takes it 25,000 years approximately to pass the what? The constellation. So we are traveling, meeting certain points as we travel. So the woman, man, we are being born under these motions of influence, which the Quran emphasizes in Surah 85. Humza un Tamina un Amza, which is Surah 85 called Al Baruj, which is the by the way of the constellation or the zodiac, which is Jumna. So Jumna, the birth chart, natal chart, is something natural to the Arabic in the Quran. Yes, because it deals with fertility. Do you have any proof of that? With the word Jama? I just gave you enough proof, but let me show you something else. Friday is the day of Juma. Well, why was Friday picked? Friday was said to be the day that Adam was made. To meet where? In the garden. Wow, Hagan. Jumna again. What you do in the garden? You plant seeds. The meeting place, huh? Where did the seed go? In the Naba, the center of the earth, so it could develop and blossom. Chill out for a minute. What is special about Friday to the Alawums, which is to the Romans? What does it say? Oh, it says Friday represents Venus. See, the reason I'm bringing this all this to your attention with this chapter I was talking to you about is because G life was put in jeopardy 3 times in this book over a woman. In this chapter, over a woman that he was in love with at that tender age of what, 14 and 15 years old. He was being challenged by the adults on his block, the lords on his block, the OGs on his block. But these OGs, they respected G Money and Danger and Indian. They respected him. They violated, yes, but they respected him enough because they saw him binding himself to himself, carrying himself with a certain austerity, with a certain aesthetic that was beyond the normal imagination of a 14-year-old child or young man. He dwarfed the normal average person's imagination, how he dealt with business, how he collected himself, how he wasn't a savage in the pursuit of happiness, but was a businessman who took care of his business, didn't put his business out on the street, kept it to himself, kept it to his crew. And you saw how he collected the books, right? Whoa, he studied how Mata showed him in Indian how to book record. When you're doing the natal chart, it's the same thing. You got to book record. When you say, oh, my birthday is such and such, and I can't wait till my birthday come. Oh, yeah, my sign is this year. What's your sign? That's called bookkeeping. But you gotta know the true date that you was born under. So you can understand how to plug in and tune into your true natal chart. Tune into the vortex, which is your true umbilical cord in the universe. With that, I'm gonna stop though. But yeah, man. I just mentioned to y'all, man, in that chapter, a few legends on the block, man. Frankie, Vonda, True. Yo, these were three legends, man. They had dudes under massive pressure on the block, yo. Know what I mean? And remember, they reclaimed the spot that we had lost and helped us. And they helped us chase away the dudes that was down with MOP. Malik, Drag. Know what I mean? Fame and them. We chased them off the block. Spud, we chased them dudes off the block. They also helped us with a crew called A-Team at one time on the block. Yo, we was going G Money and them, G Light and them was going through something on that block, man. St. John and Troy, man. We not talking about no trivial situations here. We not talking about no little nickel and dime spot that wasn't making no real money, only making selling the 8 ball a day. That spot, 1326, 1328, was pulling in a day a key or more. A day. And it probably was more than that. Know what I mean? Money I'm making, dread. That was the chapter Tweety and Bird, man. So with that, man, I see y'all dudes. Get my poes and poets, 2 Ps. I see y'all next week. Um, Yo, I might be on a flight next Monday, but I might see y'all Tuesday. But I'm gonna give y'all a shout out though. I'm gonna come on a tube, even if I'm on the plane in the airport. I'm gonna still give y'all a shout out. Let y'all know that I'm thinking about y'all on the tube and on the gram. Now I mean, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna try to pull up on International Peace, Fight Club, and I'm gonna pull up in the cookie roller fashion. But I'm definitely gonna be here with Gara Gayn reads, man. Shout out, man. You know what it's all about, man. We not playing with y'all. We serious. I mean, check it out, man. Check out. Go to Amazon, pull up Saint, pull up El Gargain. Know what I mean, go and get the book Saint John New Building Kids, Age of the Kraken. Pull up, get Saint John. I mean, Polo Posse, Saint John Polo Posse, get Vital Nation, man. Those are 2 books that's out. Know what I mean, it's published right now. It's on Amazon. Pull up, pull up. If you got Kindle Unlimited, it's free. Know what I mean. Other than that, man, go to www at www.elgargain.com. I mean, support the movement, man. Support the independent culture. We here for you, man. We hope you there for us, man. Support the brothers because we work hard. We work hard to be able to to be able to deliver the goods that we give to you guys, man. Literature, clothing, the food for wisdom. You know what I mean? Food, clothing, shelter. Those are 3 of the 12 Jews. We here for you guys, man. So I hope you can gain a grit of truth. You know what I mean? May his wings spread forever in us using that word every time we say it. You know what I mean? So that you get a grit of truth, man, every time you hear something from the book, man. And I hope it inspire you, man. I hope the artwork inspire you, man. We're about to do an interview with Bars and Hoops, Hoops and Bars. We're about to Juneteenth, you know what I mean? Watch out for the documentary, you know what I mean? The source interview. I mean the source gonna let y'all know what's going on with our documentary. They did a source on us. Also, man, coming soon is our art gallery we having, and coming soon we're gonna do another pop out in ATL, man. It's lit, man. We on the move, man. Ain't no stopping. And also we about to do a few pop-up shops in the city. Know what I mean? We'll give y'all the ETA when it pops off. Know what I mean? So y'all get some of them cookie monsters for the fall. And y'all get the goose. Oh, the cookie goose. Know what I mean? Get the cookie jet denims. Get the cookie apostle t-shirt. Get the cookie Madonna t-shirt. The 86 cookie crowns. Know what I mean? Get the St. John's. Know what I mean? Also, know what I mean? You could rock out with us. Know what I mean? And let people see that you support your own brand, man. And that y'all willing to make one of your own kind of winner. Cause y'all make me a winner, y'all be the true winner. Cause I'm not the winner. I'm just a servant. I think that's the best thing to be in the world, a servant. I think that's the best. All right. Tune in, tune out. Yo, we out, man. Love y'all, man. 2 Ps. Thanks for being with us at St. John El Gargain reads, man. St. John Newbert kid, the age of the Kraken. 2 Ps.